Hey, this is Blaine Cook, man. I'm up here in Seattle. I'm from the band Toe Tag. You're listening to the Nothing Shocking podcast.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking podcast, a non-genre based, all ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
We're putting the band back together.
The numbers all go to 11.
I'm talking about bands that rock. Led Zeppelin. What about Sabbath? AC/DC. Motorhead.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I get up off the ground and raise my head. Days like this, think I should be dead. One for Satan, two for me. Let's cheat the devil, it's fun, don't you agree?
Welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeff Untied, and with me in Dog Bowl Studios is
Coach Nez.
You can find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Libsyn or any podcatchers. Like our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter at No Shock Pod.
You can also find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Rock Rage Radio every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Our sponsor is Ragged Records, located in downtown Rock Island, Illinois, and downtown Davenport, Iowa. We'd like to thank the Hong Kong Sleepover for allowing us to use their music for our intro and bumper ending. Tonight's guest is
Blaine Zippy Cook.
Yeah, former lead singer of The Accused and the Fartz,
and current lead singer of
Toe Tag, and the host of the Wicker Bar on YouTube.
Check it out.
Yeah, let's get to that interview.
Okay.
Good night. Blaine, welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I'd like to introduce you, my co-host, Jeff Untied.
Blaine, thanks for joining us tonight.
Jeff, how are you? Eric, how are you guys doing this evening?
We're totally excited to have you on. Thanks for all the correspondence, and since we had to cancel on you a few months ago, thanks for your willingness to come back on and reschedule with us.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, so we're excited to have you.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, well, it's very exciting. So, Toe Tag recently released a digital EP titled Paraquat. You expressed that the band tries to stay away from the digital format. Can you talk a little bit more about the creation for Paraquat and what caused this band to release it digitally? How did it all come about?
Well, because the during the pandemic, and there was a run on bands having records pressed, so it was just taking so long. It could take anywhere from 6 to 12 or 6 to 14 months to get vinyl pressed. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, major labels they've started pressing vinyl again, and they used to have their own pressing plants and they don't. Mm-hmm. So it's, put a real crimp on the smaller pressing plants that are now doing stuff for major labels that they were never doing that kind of work before. And so we had spent the money on recording the songs. So it just seemed like, well, let's. We didn't want to just sit on the songs for another year because generally what happens, and a year later we'll listen to the songs and wish that we would have played them better or something like that. So it's like, we just just slapped them up there on Bandcamp so that if anybody was interested, they could give them a listen.
Oh, very good. Okay. All right, well. Witches of 128th is my favorite track on that album. It gives me that old school doom metal, that 70s doom metal vibe to it. Can you talk a little bit more about the writing process for the Witches of 128th?
That's funny because I did an interview with a couple a few weeks ago, and they like that song as well. the writing process in Toe Tag, pretty much Alex Maggot Brain, who was the former was the bass player for The Accused that I was in back in the 80s and early 90s. He's been playing guitar for whatever the past couple 25 years or so. So he writes all the songs. There isn't really like what we do. Our band it's as much as we're a band as we are a men's club. Just because the older we get, we practice down here in my basement. We've been practicing at my house for 20 years now. So I don't know. Alex just comes up with some riffs, and we just put them together and make a song. There really isn't any. We don't really have any magical process or anything. It's just kind of like he comes up with something. We hammer it out, and before you know it's a song.
Oh, very good.
All right. Do you guys perform live with this band?
We do. Yeah. We haven't done because we've been doing these playing these Accused songs out for I don't know since like 2017 or something on kind of like a regular basis, and sometimes for a couple of years we would do a split set. We'd do a set of the Accused material, and then we'd do a set of the Toe Tag material, and pretty much in obviously there was no shows in 2020. We did like we did a couple of live streams from the basement.
Oh, nice.
And then in 2021, by the time live shows were back, actually the first live show that we did coming back was a Toe Tag set, and then I ended up rupturing my Achilles.
Oh wow!
Which was a real drag.
Yeah.
We play the Toe Tag songs out. It's just right now, people, there's this whole nostalgia thing, and people want to hear us play those Accused songs, and that's what they're, so, the people ask, and we deliver the best we can.
Does that ever get a little old for you guys? You've played those songs a million times, and the people are still wanting those vintage Accused songs. Do you ever say, hey, can we turn the page, or is it still fresh for you to still play those songs?
I wish that we would garner the same excitement playing our own songs, playing the Toe Tag songs. And honestly, I think we enjoy playing the Accused songs more now than, like, let's say, in the the final years of the Accused, or the couple of times that we tried to do the reunion, get it back together type of a deal. Just because now we're doing it for fun. There's no preconceived notions about what we're doing. We get out there and play. I mean, we do the sometimes people, bands want to come and they want us to play with them up here in Seattle. It's like, in Seattle, nobody gives a shit about, us playing these Accused songs. Really, for the most part, over the past, I would have to say that over the past year, we've kind of connected more with like a younger crowd of guys. And I'm just saying guys because most of the bands that we're playing with, they're guys. There are some bands we play with that do have women and other variations of humanity in their bands. But I think we've kind of made a connection with some of the younger bands
Nice.
over the past year that we didn't have. And so we play when we play for 20 people or 2,000. It really doesn't matter because we're not doing it to make money. We're not doing it to become the big thing again. It's just we do it because it's fun. It's fun to do.
That's awesome.
Very good. Well, let's talk a little bit about the post-COVID shows now. Do you feel as though where you're at in the Seattle area, is it back to normal now? Or, because we're still seeing these pockets of COVID kind of all around the United States. Where is it at for you guys right now?
It's back. I mean, if you're a younger band and you have a strong following, I mean, there's still, the shows are they're back. They're big. The whole asking about, if you've been vaccinated or you have to wear a mask or, all that other stuff. I mean, that's all gone for the most part. I think we played a festival here in Seattle, and I think we had to show proof of vaccination. But that's all done. The only thing that I've kind of really noticed after the post pandemic shows is like bar shows and smaller things that used to be like $5 or $6 or $7. They now cost they're like $10 or $12.
Sure.
Which in the big scheme of things that really shouldn't be that big of a deal if you want to go see a band or there's 3 bands and you have to pay $10 when it costs you more than that to go see a movie. So it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. And it is 2022, so some of the older people need to wake up and figure it out. It's you're not gonna go see Venom and the Cro-Mags and Suicidal Tendency somewhere and pay $6. Those days are over. I mean, it's just
Exactly. Well, I wanted to bring this back to Paraquat. With it being released digitally, I don't know if you answered this question before or not. Are you and the rest of the band, are you planning to release this on physical copies sometime in the near future or somewhere down the road?
We actually have just been talking about that recently. A lot of it has to do with money, because then if you do a project like that, then you're paying for it, and everything that we do, all the money that we make, which isn't really a whole lot, that all goes back into it pays for us to go do stuff. If like we're going to go next month, we're going to go do a show down in Portland and in another town called Kelso. So we're going to go down there. We got to get a hotel room for each night. All that. It just kind of goes to fund the machine. And we've got 3 new songs right now. So if we want to record, we've got to have the money to record. Yeah, if there was a magical way where you could get vinyl pressed and it was a lot quicker, it just takes so long.
Yeah.
And unless there was a label, that wanted to put it out.
Sure.
Otherwise we have to do it. Then it's all self-released, and then you got to go through the whole trying to distribute the thing or piecing it out, and then it takes you another year to get rid of them all.
Exactly. I guess, this may be a general question, but where are you and the rest of the band at when it comes to releasing physical copy? We're in an age now where things are being released singles at a time. We're like almost going back to the 50s. But as far as if and when the band ever releases another physical album, do you prefer the EP format or would you like to go back to the LP? How does it work?
If we're doing like a physical release,
yes.
I think more of the EP, just because it's not like it used to be. If you're like signed to a label and like let's say every year or every 18 months you need to come up with a whole LP's worth of material. That means you really got to hunker down, and all of your energies are going to go into coming up with that material. Now if you've got a couple of 2 or 3 or 4 songs, you can record those and either put them on a 7-inch or a 12-inch EP.
Sure.
You and your wife had a YouTube channel with where you guys were doing mixed drinks, the Wicker Bar. Can you talk a little bit about your ideology behind those podcast or those YouTube videos?
That was my, like everybody, when the pandemic struck and we were all locked down. Yeah. Everybody was doing stupid videos. Facebook Live videos were a big thing, and then they got rid of those. So I just started making cocktails, and then I went into our massive collection of cookbooks and cocktail books, and I pulled out all these books, and I discovered I had all of these books that I didn't even know that I had. So I just started delving in, getting all of those ingredients to make a bunch of these classic. Sometimes they're called Prohibition era drinks.
Yeah.
And so we started doing those with the Facebook Live, and then since I had a lot of time and I had some space in my basement and I had a couple of extra pieces of plywood, I just kind of put together this my TV set down in the basement. TV set meaning like a set, like a movie set or something like that.
Sure.
And I went. I designed. I was going to build a bar, and then I was at an antique mall, and this bar that was a Wicker Bar was turned around, and it just looked like a bookshelf, and everything in that antique mall space was 50% off. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh no, that's a bar. And then our nephew came over. And he said, you should call your show the Wicker Bar. So it's like, there you go, nice. Cocktails and mixed drinks from the Wicker Bar.
That's awesome.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. And we keep doing that. We don't. I think the beginning of the lockdown, I think we were making more cocktails than we do now, because after a while, the novelty, and then my wife works from home, and when all of that business started, her role was, they were trying to kind of figure out what she was going to be doing at home, and she really didn't have too much to do. But now she's works from home, and she probably works more now than she did before.
Yeah, very good. We kind of want to bring this back to music with Accused AD. It's your side project, playing old the Accused songs.
Yep.
I guess, how do you do this? Toe tag and Accused AD, and I guess, how does this work for you?
I guess it kind of depends on what we're doing. So when we started playing the Accused songs like way back, because we've been doing toe tag for like 14 or 15 years. So we started doing the Accused songs like way back, like 11 or 12 years ago, and we called ourselves Martha's Revenge. And then we started to call ourselves the Accused AD around either 2016 or 2017, and it was kind of like around the anniversary of the release of the More Fun Than an Open Casket Funeral record. So we decided we'd learn that record. So we learned that record, and we doing the thing like bands do, where they play one of their old records from front to back.
Sure. So
we did a little bit of little short touring as permitted, where we played that record from front to back, and so we did that for a couple of years, and then we were going to be done playing the Accused songs in 2019. We did in October of 2019. We did a couple of shows with the DRI up here in the Northwest, and those were going to be the last ones that we were going to do for a while. We were just going to do the toe tag stuff, and then a couple of weeks later, we got asked to play this festival, and their guy wanted us to play the Return of Martha Splatterhead record. So we just went to task, learning the songs from that record. And most, it just depends. It just depends on practice, how many beers people have had, or how much marijuana has been smoked. As to how, like I said, it's a men's club. We're doing it for fun, so we don't really, we're not putting our noses down to the grindstone or anything. Some nights we'll play a bunch of Accused songs. Some nights we'll, because the toe tag material we've got, I don't know, maybe 75 toe tag songs. So there's a lot. A lot to pick through. So sometimes we'll bust out, some of the newer toe tag songs that we've done, and then sometimes we'll, open up the vault and play some stuff we haven't done in a while.
Oh, very good. Jeff, you got the next one?
I guess just a little bit about your songwriting process. Do you when you guys are doing the lyrics and stuff like that, do you write a lot, or does this stuff just come out, or how's it work for you?
Oh, dude, I'm definitely not a lyrical genius. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not good at writing lyrics at all. Back in the days, I would have written a song about Martha Splatterhead. Yeah, now I just write a song about. I write a song about somebody who's killing somebody. I'll write a song about a dead body.
Yeah.
I'm going to write a song about about growing old and dying, or I'm going to write a song about war.
Yeah.
You know, those are my four the four topics that I generally hit on.
Because I know you guys are known for, political and all that other stuff. It's really cool.
I don't do, I might do a little something with a little bit of social commentary. I'm not one to jump on any sort of political high horse these days. Just because I think that's a younger man's game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable in my life and, in my little circle. Marijuana is legal in the state of Washington now. Liquor is not controlled by the state anymore, and you can get it at the grocery store. I mean, there's the world, the world's a fucked up place.
Yeah.
And
It is.
I find that a lot of stuff that goes on, people gravitate towards what is shiny and new, and without the big things ever being solved. And so instead of just working on one thing and getting one thing fixed, people get bored with that, and then they're off. They moved on to the next thing. And there's so much messed up stuff that's going on in the world right now. That's just what's going on.
Yeah.
Totally understand. Accused AD, I know that you had said to me earlier that when we were corresponding by email that we were pondering maybe possibly a 2023 tour support of the Maddest Story Ever Told album. Is there going to be any type of touring going on with Accused AD in support of that album?
We talked about it. I think right now we're more concentrating on writing some new toe tag material.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. I'm trying to get everybody. We've got some offers for some stuff to do in 2023, and I just kind of more working on people to get their passports so that we can get the stuff going on. And there's a lot of places that we haven't played the Return of Martha Splatterhead record songs or songs off of the More Fun record. So we could do something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Sometimes I can't push it too much. I got to go with the flow.
Understandable. Yeah. Well, after 14 years, you recently closed your restaurant, Zippy's Giant Burgers. Can you talk a little bit more about the journey of being a restaurant entrepreneur?
Dude, it was tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. Yeah. I mean, it started off, I opened the restaurant because I ruptured my other Achilles back like 17 years ago. And so I was laid up in the process for having that surgery. It took a lot longer. So I was laid up for a lot longer. I was very depressed, and I just kind of wanted to do my own thing. And prior to that, I'd worked with young children for most of my adult life, and whatever. So I was looking for a business that I could get into, and there was a teriyaki shop that wasn't too far away from our house, and that business was for sale, and we were just going to do teriyaki like they already did, but the kid that was representing the family was tired of teriyaki. He said if somebody did burgers or sandwiches here, it would be a hit. So we went with burgers, and it started out. I mean, it was great. It just after. So we had a really small location, then we moved to a bigger location. Then I got a wild hair up my ass, and I wanted to have 2 restaurants, and then that ended up being stupid. And then it just got to be just too difficult. The labor market is really, really tough now, and in the restaurant business, it's been like that probably for the past 4 years. So it was almost like pre-COVID, and it just got to be too difficult to do it. But I mean, it was a great. We had a great run. We got to be on that show, Mystery Diners.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Our episode is called Mascot Mayhem. It's very funny. There's a reason why they call it scripted reality. Yeah, that was cool. My wife hated it. She would refuse to watch the episode because she didn't want to do it. But it was fun. We got featured on a Japanese TV program that was really cool. We were lucky enough because when we opened, it was kind of like right at the beginning of all of that social media stuff.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. All of that stuff. MySpace was still around, so it was just kind of like right when that stuff was hitting, and we really benefited from that. It was a great run. If it wouldn't have been, we were trying to sell the business, but we just had, like every other business has, they have problems with the landlord and they end up getting dicked around. So, it was just getting very, very difficult, and the cost of goods over the past 2 years since all this business started, it was just getting to be too much. I was done.
I understand that. Okay, so the subject matter is rupturing your Achilles.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah,
tell us the story about rupturing both of them. They have to be different stories, so let's hear it.
They are. So the first one. Okay, well, don't tell anyone, but we were playing shows both times. So the first time we were playing this show at this place here in Seattle called Mr. Spot's Chai House. And it was kind of just like this, punker kind of a deal. You play on the floor. And we were playing, and then about halfway through our set, it's like, fuck, man, somebody just kicked me in the back of my leg as hard as they could.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. So I had to sit down. I had no idea, and I got home, and I ended up crawling up the stairs to get into the bed. And I was kind of like was limping around for the next 3 weeks. And my wife says, you need to go to the doctor. I was like, no, I'm okay. So, I finally go to the doctor, and he says, yeah, you ruptured your Achilles. It's like, okay, well, fucking, that's great. So I went through that whole process. I would think I was in a cast for 4 or 5 months, and then you got to go to physical therapy and learn how to walk and all of that stuff. And then the second time, which was just back in 2021, I'm not really even sure how it happened. I mean, because I that morning, I go for a walk every morning to try to stay healthy.
Yeah.
So we had gone for this big walk. I stretch out, before we play, and we got out there, and our first song was an instrumental. The second song had words. I get out there, and halfway through the song, I'm looking around. It's like, because I know that our bass player Steve, I know he's not going to kick me, but it was like the same thing. It's like, did he just kick me, or did I just hit the back of my leg on the drum riser? It's like, fuck, I knew exactly what happened. I just blew my fucking Achilles.
Yeah, my cousin said the same thing. He said he was playing kickball with students, and he thought somebody kicked him in the back of the leg. The exact same thing.
Yeah, it really sucked because we played, the show was on a Friday, and then the next day we were having a party at our house, and everybody's at that night. Everybody's go. You got to go to the emergency. Go to the emergency room. It's like, I'm not going to go to the emergency room at 1:00 in the morning. I'm going to be there all night long. Yeah. They're going to tell me I ruptured my Achilles, and then I'm going to go home. So, we had our little party on Saturday, and then I went to the emergency room on the Sunday, and Seattle was having this weird heat wave. So the emergency room was packed with all these like dipshits that were like, doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing because it was too hot out.
Yeah.
And, I finally get in there to see the doctor, and He goes, and I told him, it's like, yeah, I've ruptured my Achilles. Well, let's just have a look. You go, oh yeah, yep, you're right. Classic ruptured Achilles. And he even called over a bunch of interns to come over and look at my Achilles, because it was like, here it is, classic textbook ruptured Achilles. And yeah,
that's the story.
Luckily but luckily the second time the surgery, the process is a lot different. I healed up a lot quicker. Physical therapy was a lot better, and I think that happened at like the end of June, and I was out of the boot like the end of August, September. So I was kind of starting to be able to walk by about middle of September.
Oh, very good.
And we still played shows when I was in with the ruptured Achilles too.
Oh, cool.
Both times.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good. I have one last question for you, then we'll leave you alone for the evening. So the mystery of rock and roll, you were part of The Accused. They had a mystery to them back in their day. The dawning of the internet is taken away from the mystery of rock and roll. Social media has taken all that stuff away. For you, the artist and the fan, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the mystery of the side of rock and roll, or do you like this accessibility and that social media gives us? Because let's face it, if we didn't have the internet, we wouldn't be doing this with you right now. So where are you at when it comes to rock and roll mystery?
I prefer the mystery. I like the accessibility. I like the accessibility when the internet first came out, and it was a little bit more of a tool. Like for connecting with people. Yeah. I think it was a little bit more purposeful than what it's turned into. I think I see now it's like for some people it's like a crutch. I'm on the neighborhood I live on. There's a couple of these Facebook groups, and it's like somebody's gonna just ask like the stupidest fucking question. It's like, you're on the fucking internet. It's like, get on, Google it. It's like, you want to know where to get your oil changed? Google it. I mean, that's what it's for. I in some ways, because I used to be a fan of wrestling, and then when the internet came along, it's like, now it's just kind of like ruined it for me, because all of a sudden I found myself gravitating not towards actually watching wrestling matches, but I'm just like watching these YouTube shows, or I'm searching for all this information and stuff, and it's kind of like it took away the fun of the fun of it. But for the younger people, they're the accessibility that they have towards music, and it's crazy. I mean, YouTube is like going to the library. You're going to see stuff on there that, tape traders, just stuff that you used to have to work really, really hard to get your hands on. It's just like, it's just a search away.
It is. Yeah. It truly is.
And I'm older too. So, for me, it's like, if it wasn't for the young guys removing the veils of mystery, they wouldn't care about me playing these Accused songs anymore.
Go ahead, Jeff. You got one more?
Well, just off that, you kind of alluded to playing with some of the younger bands and some of the bands that are coming up. Do you see rock kind of returning to a forefront ever again? It's not been in the pop culture anymore, but do you see young bands out there still that are going to make it?
I don't really know how that happens now.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity to play with Municipal Waste, way back like 16 or 17 years ago when we did the last Accused reunion deal. And, they've blown up, and they're fucking huge. I don't even know how many records that they put out, over the years. And, I see bands that play. It's like, I've never even heard of this band. It's like, where are all these people? What are they doing here? It's crazy.
Very good. Well, we're out of our allotted time for the evening. Is there anything?
Okay.
Is there anything? Right. Is there anything that we left off that you would like to plug or promote?
I don't think so. Just check out my YouTube channel, Happy Hour at the Wicker Bar. Check out the AccusedArchives.com. We've got we digitized a bunch of VHS shows from the
nice.
from the 80s and early 90s, and that's up there. No, man, just keep it real. That's about it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, this is how things are going to work out. Jeff will get this all cleaned up, and once it's all ready to go, we'll send you the link, and please share it wherever you can.
I will. Excellent.
Fantastic. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah, same to you guys.
Right,
take it easy.
Bye-bye.
If they ever take from you, then you plug out.